So what's your kind of view on talent as a whole in London and in the UK? Perhaps in comparison to Silicon Valley, do you think we are, almost lacking in the engineers? Because I feel as though they head off to Silicon Valley, drawn by the bright lights and all that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's obviously there's a unparalleled depth of technical talent, engineering talent in Silicon Valley. There's no doubt about it. And as you say, including as well we see a lot of startups that we fund in Europe who then move over to Silicon Valley as well. We do see that happening. At the same time, the talent war for engineering talent in Silicon Valley is even more intense than it is in Europe. We actually just very recently, just a few weeks ago, one of our studies on compensation, we did the sort of most extensive study of engineering and product talent, compensation talent that's been done in Europe. And that revealed that actually now sort of option grants are on a par between Europe and the US for individual contributor engineers, for instance, which was a real surprise to us, whereas cash compensation is about 30% lower. And I don't think the culture of free breakfast, lunch and dinners and shuttle services and dry cleaning, etc., is quite as embedded in Europe as it is in Silicon Valley yet. But there's a huge amount of talent now, really sort of homegrown talent that's evolved and come into play in Europe. And I think we've also hit this tipping point where the startup ecosystem here is now seen as the hot place to be. So I get a lot of inbound interest from super high caliber candidates now coming from large corporates and banks, etc., saying we want to be a part of this. We want to be in the startup world. It's the place to be. So I think that's really going to change the game as well over the coming years.